Hey everyone, John here! Now, VR is basically one big encompassing 3D screen surrounding your peripheral vision, and so you may have wondered, can you use this to replace actual screens? And this is something that I've wondered about in the past, and I didn't think it was really viable until actually trying it myself. So, take a look at this. I have been using the Quest for a lot more than gaming lately, and my family is concerned. They say, "Father, we don't recall what your face looks like, and I can wash things up while watching YouTube without fear of any screens getting wet. I can even change the video just by pointing with wet hands and nothing's going to get damaged unless I submerge my face in the water," which could happen. And obviously with a Quest, you can hook it up to a PC to play PC VR games like Half-Life Alyx or Boneworks. It's very easy to do that, Steam Link is free, and then suddenly you're remotely controlling your PC from your headset. You can even get onto the desktop and do anything, or play full-on 2D games on a giant screen. Basically, this can be a PC monitor, but Steam Link doesn't give you absolutely everything. Enter Virtual Desktop. Unlike Steam Link, this is not free. This is £18.99, but I think it's worth it for one huge thing. So this is my physical PC setup. It's just one screen. I like working here, I've got all my consoles hooked up, it's very easy to capture stuff from, and it's connected to another monitor which duplicates exactly what's on that monitor in my booth to get rid of any noises that could be going on. It's good for what I generally need, but it's also not particularly fancy. But even though I've pretty much got one screen, with Virtual Desktop I can add up to 3 different screens and create a setup like this. We've got one horizontal screen there, another right above it, and a vertical screen to the side. We can move these anywhere we want in 3D space. We can tilt them. There's really no restriction to what you want to do with them. You can resize them, curve them, and the coolest thing I think is you can make these any resolution you want them to be. And so this screen right here is 5120 by 1440, which is to say, very freaking wide. I've never had an ultra-wide monitor before, and so of course I had to test this on a bunch of games. The first one I tried is of course a game from around 25 years ago. It's Sonic Adventure 2, a game originally designed for 4:3, and so to make it this aspect ratio is kinda nuts. Now I know what some of you are wondering, how playable is this? You're using your PC remotely, there must be some latency, right? And there probably is, but it's hardly perceptible. I can make these very small window timings on these swingy bits here perfectly, every time. Unfortunately, some of my capture didn't come out the best and it seems like there's stutter, but I swear in the headset it is completely smooth. I'm using an Xbox controller to play right now, and I'm just so thrilled that it works this well. Everything feels so immediate, and it feels crazy good on this ultra-wide display. An actual monitor like this would cost so much money. And if you're wondering the specific aspect ratio, this is 32:9. Of course you can just play in 16:9. Here's Half-Life 2 being played on a mouse and keyboard. At this stage I was using a Bluetooth mouse and keyboard, and because I didn't own a traditional Bluetooth keyboard, I used the one that comes with Pokemon Typing Adventure. And it's surprisingly pretty good even though it's missing a bunch of keys, but it's cute and I like it. Unfortunately, the Bluetooth stuff didn't feel that great, it was quite unresponsive, and so I ended up getting this, a USB-C to USB-A adapter, and using that to plug in a USB dongle for the wireless keyboard and mouse I use in my booth, and this works so much better. This basically feels like playing my PC from my desk. I then went back to a controller and played Halo the Master Chief Collection, both in the campaign and online to see how to fare against other people. Now I suppose there's 2 ways of playing Halo on your Quest. You can use the Xbox Cloud streaming app, and that's pretty good for what it is, but of course this is much better. You get better latency, higher resolutions, and because this is the PC version, we can do ultra-wide. I held my own pretty well. I don't think my performance was any different to usual really. Everything just felt incredibly accurate and native, and playing this in ultra-wide is so cool.
I tried out UFO 50 as well, and this game is designed for 16:9, so when playing in ultra-wide, you just get black borders. But the beauty of this is if that happens, you can just say, no, be a 16:9 monitor now. And so you haven't got to deal with those big black borders, unlike an actual ultra-wide monitor where there's no way around them. And something that's very cool about Virtual Desktop as well is it isn't just about pass-through. You can change the environment you're in, whether you want to duplicate a game room or a living room, or my favorites, home cinemas. Just play on a giant virtual screen with actual cinema chairs around you. And there's a bunch of these. There's like a auditorium or a home cinema or a public cinema. It's just a really cool way to experience these games in different ways. The sense of scale is real too. You feel like you are actually in a cinema. Now, the last thing I wanted to do was edit a video entirely in VR. And so we've got a video coming up. We've recorded a bunch of discussions to go out over the Christmas period. And the one about 2025 games that we're looking forward to was edited entirely in VR. I started off by just using the actual motion controllers, and honestly, it's pretty good for light editing. Where you point is basically the mouse, and you can bring up a virtual keyboard for any other keys that you may need, and it's good. I'm definitely much faster with a keyboard and mouse, especially because the cursor doesn't really change when using the pointer, unlike a mouse which would, depending on what you're highlighting. But for what it does and what it is, I'm really pleased with this. But then I decided to use a keyboard and mouse and to try ultra-wide editing. So I've got the actual video preview on a 16:9 monitor up here, whereas the timeline is on an ultra-wide display, 32:9. Now, this is where it goes from being a cool alternative to my Office to just being better than my Office. I can't edit like this on my physical displays, and it's quite hard to go back. There are some cons, of course. You're at the mercy of battery life, so you can't just go on forever, and comfort is another one. Although I don't find this too uncomfortable. I've heard some people say that wearing the headset just feels heavy. I don't really feel that, but I do feel more comfortable not wearing a headset. So I suppose this asks the question, will this replace my actual monitor setup? And the answer to that is no, but it is a very cool alternative. I love editing in my living room and being around my family a bit more, even though I am wearing a big robot mask. And it allows for stuff which I'm just not capable of doing physically without spending thousands on monitors. So while this may not replace my monitor entirely, I think the answer to the question of, can this replace your monitor? Is just a resounding yes. You absolutely could have a PC with no physical screen and just use it in VR. Add whatever screen you want, play in a cinema, whatever you want to do. It's fully possible, and it's good here.
I just think this is so flippin' cool. And don't worry, the V in GVG does not stand for VR. We are getting back to regular console videos. In fact, I'm doing one right now about the console that has this peripheral. Does anyone know what that is? I hope you do. But I just wanted to share this because I think I will be using this far more often to edit from my living room. It's just nice to have that versatility without carrying a bunch of PC peripherals and also being capable of stuff that I can't physically do with the setup I have. So thank you so much for watching, and this will be the last video I record this year from a chronological standpoint. You will see more from me throughout the new year period, but this is the last thing I'm recording in 2025. It's funny how time works. Anyway, have a great end of year, if I don't say it in any other videos. Have a great end of year, and did I say this is the last video of 2025? I meant 4. Have a great 2025. Alright? It's okay to stumble on the last video, I think. Maybe. Anyway, see you later. Bye!